You know that feeling when you're standing at the checkout, your heart's kind of racing, and you swipe your credit card, and there's this tiny voice in your head going, please go through, even though you think you should be fine? Or maybe it's late at night, you open your banking app just to check something, and that credit card balance hits you in the face. You close the app immediately like it's a horror movie you weren't ready for, and then you tell yourself, I'll figure it out next month. And the wild part, on paper, you're doing okay. You have a job, you're not totally broke, but emotionally you feel trapped, anxious, like your money owns you more than you own it. Here's the thing most people never tell you. The real credit card trap isn't just the interest rate. It's the way it quietly rewires your brain, separating the pleasure of buying from the pain of paying. And if you understand that psychological mechanism, you can actually turn this whole thing into a game changer for your financial peace of mind. My name is Neo, and I spend way too much time thinking about money, especially the weird psychological ways it controls us without us realizing it. If you're someone who wants to feel actual breathing room and freedom with your money instead of that constant low-level anxiety every time you tap your card, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if it ends up giving you at least one "oh, that explains my brain" moment. Most financial gurus will tell you the same few things about credit cards. Always pay your balance in full. Never carry high interest debt. Get points and cash back. But don't overspend. And yes, in a perfect world, those are great rules. Most people think the danger of credit cards is purely mathematical. The APR is 24%, so if you don't pay it off, you'll owe a ton in interest. The conventional wisdom says it's just about discipline and math. Be responsible, don't be dumb, problem solved. But here's the thing they're missing. If this were just about math and discipline, why does the average American with a credit card carry over $6,000 in credit card debt, according to the Federal Reserve? Why do so many smart, hardworking people who know the advice, can do the math, still feel stuck in this exact same trap? There's something deeper going on. It's not that you suck at math. It's that credit cards are literally designed to exploit a biological glitch in your brain that banks have engineered to perfection. Here's the core idea I want you to walk away with. The real credit card trap is something called the decoupling effect. Credit cards separate the pleasure of buying from the pain of paying. When you pay with cash, the purchase and payment happen simultaneously. You hand over a $100 bill and physically feel the loss. But with a credit card, you get the consumption now while the pain gets pushed into the foggy, distant future. Think of it like this. It's a time machine that lets present you have all the fun while forcing future you to pick up the tab. And because future you feels like a stranger, you don't mind burdening them. This isn't just a metaphor, it's real neuroscience. MIT researchers like Drazen Prelek have done Murray studies showing that when people pay with cash, the insula lights up. That's the same part of your brain that processes physical pain and disgust. Literally, spending cash hurts. It's your brain's safety mechanism saying, hey, resources are leaving. Be careful. But when you swipe a credit card, the insula stays quiet. You've anesthetized your brain's natural spending defense system. This creates a state of financial numbness where you literally cannot feel the damage you're doing until it's far too late. And that psychological shift changes everything. How safe you feel, what risks you can take, what jobs you stay in, and what opportunities you even see as possible. When you don't have control over your credit card use, your brain operates in low-key survival mode all the time, even if you're not fully conscious of it. Here's what's actually happening. Research from Princeton and Harvard shows that financial stress literally reduces cognitive capacity by the equivalent of 13 IQ points. The American Psychological Association consistently finds that money is the top source of stress for around 70% of people. That background stress makes it harder to plan, harder to make good decisions, and easier to say, screw it, I'll deal with it later. Let me give you an example. You're at the grocery store, tired from work, brain already juggling a bunch of things. With cash or debit, you might be mentally adding up, okay, this is like 20, 30, 40 bucks. There's friction, you feel the cost. With a credit card, that mental calculator turns off. You don't feel the cost in real time, so you toss in extras. It goes from $48 to $82, and your brain barely registers it until the statement comes. Now your body reacts. Tight chest, shallow breathing, that spike of shame. You tell yourself, I've got to be better next month. But by then, your brain's already normalizing this cycle. Spend now, stress later. Here's the kicker. When your brain is always bracing for the next credit card bill, you're never really living in the present. You're living 30 days behind yourself. Now let's talk about identity, because this is where the credit card trap gets really sneaky. When you carry a balance, even a manageable one, your identity quietly shifts from person who's fine to person who's always catching up. You might not say that out loud, but you feel it. Here's what's happening psychologically. Our brains build identity from patterns. What we repeatedly do becomes who we are in our story. If every month you're transferring money around, juggling payments, and mentally apologizing to your future self, that becomes your internal narrative. Think about the last time you thought, once I pay this off, then I'll start saving/investing/being serious. Sound familiar? That's not a math problem, that's an identity problem. You're subconsciously seeing your current self as the fixing the mess version and your future self as the has it together version. I had a friend who made decent money but always carried around $5 K on his cards. He kept saying, once I get this paid down, I'll start investing. This went on for 7 years. Those weren't just 7 years of lost interest. They were 7 years of reinforcing the identity of, I'm the guy who's behind. Your credit card balance becomes more than a number. It becomes a story you keep telling yourself about who you are and what's possible for you. Credit cards don't just affect what you buy. They affect how you choose. When you lean on your card, your brain shifts from growth mode to survival mode. It stops asking, what will move me forward? And starts asking, how do I plug this leak? Studies from behavioral finance show that when people feel financially constrained, they start focusing on short-term relief instead of long-term benefit. It's called tunneling. Your mental bandwidth narrows. You get hit with a $600 car repair. If you're already carrying balances, you just slap it on the card. Problem solved. But now your minimum payments go up. That $600 at 22% interest with minimum payments can take years to clear and cost you over $1,000 total. Now, when you think about taking a risk, like a course, a side hustle, or even a better but slightly riskier job, you feel this weight, I can't take that risk, I've got these cards to pay. So you choose safety. You stay stuck. When credit card debt is calling the shots, your life decisions become about damage control, not growth. When your mental bandwidth is consumed by, how do I manage this balance? You literally see fewer opportunities. They can be right in front of you, and your brain just doesn't register them as realistic. Research shows that financial scarcity reduces cognitive capacity. When you're mentally juggling debt, there's less brain power left to spot and act on better options. A colleague mentions a new role that's commission-based, but has more upside. Your first thought? I can't risk inconsistent income, I've got payments. You don't even explore it. Before the credit card stress, that opportunity might have felt exciting. After months of just trying to keep up, your default is, I can't afford any missteps. Two people with the exact same income can live completely different lives simply based on whether their mental energy goes to chasing balances or building options. This trap doesn't stay in your bank account. It bleeds into relationships and work life. When you're secretly stressed about cards, you might say yes to social things you can't afford because everyone else is going and you have a card. Or say no to networking events that could advance your career because you feel guilty spending anything non-essential. A Bankrate survey showed that over half of workers who feel financially insecure also feel stuck in their job. People stay in toxic situations longer when they feel trapped by monthly payments. Someone I know wanted to leave a burnout job but had $8,000 in credit card debt. She said, I can't afford to job hunt. What if there's a gap? So she stayed 3 more years, 3 years of missed opportunities and health impacts just to keep minimum payments flowing. Credit card debt quietly negotiates your standards downward in relationships, work, and what you think you deserve. We hear about compound interest in investing, but there's a dark version: compound stress and compound lost opportunity. If you carry a $5,000 balance at 22% making only minimums, you'll pay roughly $3,500 in interest over time. Those same dollars invested over 20 years could grow to tens of thousands. Psychologically, it's worse. Every year in the trap adds another layer of this is just who I am. Before, you might think, I've slipped up. After a decade, it becomes, I'm just bad with money. Credit card debt doesn't just compound financially, it compounds into a whole identity and life path you never actually chose. But here's where most people mess this up when they try to escape. They go to extremes, either cold turkey deprivation mode that lasts 3 weeks, or the points hacker fantasy where they try to outsmart their psychology without changing underlying patterns. Both ignore the real issue. This isn't just about the card. It's about the role the card plays in your emotional regulation and life story. If you treat this like a morality play, good if I don't swipe, bad if I do, you just add shame. And shame triggers avoidance, which leads right back to not opening statements and dealing with it later. This isn't about becoming someone who never uses credit cards. It's about becoming the type of person who never needs them to feel safe. When you see a credit card as your safety net, if something goes wrong, I'll put it on the card, you've outsourced your security to a bank that profits from your stress. Think opportunity cost. Every dollar of balance isn't just debt, it's a dollar not working for future you. A $3,000 balance at 20% costs $600 yearly in interest. Over 10 years, that's $6,000 gone. The same $3,000 in an index fund at 8% could grow to around $6,500. The gap? Over $12,000. Using credit cards for lifestyle instead of emergencies is basically renting your happiness at 20-30% interest. Let's do gentle math, no shame, just clarity. Say you have $5,000 at 22% interest, minimum payment around $100 a month. Paying minimums only, you could be paying for 15 plus years with total interest over $4,000. That's $100, 180 months, tax $18,000 total for a $5,000 problem. Compare, $200 a month instead of $100. You'd be done in about 30 months with roughly $1,200 in interest. 230 plex, $6,000 total. One path, years of anxiety, no progress, thousands lost. Other path, focused effort for 2 years, then that money's freed to build your buffer. Or consider lifestyle spending. An extra $100 a month on stuff that goes on the card, $1,200 yearly. Over 10 years at 22% interest, the real cost could be $20,000. That same 100 monthly in an index fund over 30 years, roughly $175,000. Same $100. Different identity, different outcome. Your choice moving forward. Here's the core message. The credit card trap isn't just debt. It's the psychological shift from I'm building something to I'm always catching up. It's how your brain, identity, and decisions slowly reorganize around keeping up with payments instead of creating breathing room. You're not weak for being in this trap. You're playing a game engineered by billion-dollar companies with teams of psychologists to keep you swiping. But this is your responsibility to change. Not from guilt, but because future you is counting on present you to step out of survival mode into builder mode. Realistically, this might take 12, 24, 36 months of focused effort, creating a tiny emergency buffer so your card stops being plan A, paying more than minimums even if it's only an extra $25 at first, reducing new charges even when that means saying no to things others say yes to. But on the other side, you're not just someone without credit card debt. You're someone whose brain operates differently. Your baseline anxiety drops. Your decisions shift from how do I keep up to what do I want to build. You start seeing options again that used to feel too risky. So the choice isn't, do I want to be good with credit cards or bad with them? The question is, do you want to keep renting your peace of mind from a bank, or do you want to slowly, steadily buy it back and become the kind of person who genuinely doesn't need a card to feel safe? You don't have to fix everything today, but you can decide today which story you want to be living in. Your future self is waiting to see what you choose.